Okay, so we may as well get started. Welcome everyone to Search Engine Optimization 101 for Small Business. My name is Anne. I am a consultant with the Greatly Agency, and I will be your host today for this growGREAT training session on search engine optimization. And we may as well get started. We've got a lot to cover in the next 45 minutes or so, and then 15 minutes of Q&A at the end. So our goals for today are to understand what search engine marketing or search marketing is all about, why you need to optimize for search as a small business, the difference between search engine marketing, search engine optimization, and pay-per-click is. We'll talk about the 3 categories of search engine optimization on your website. And the purpose of understanding the 3 categories is so that you understand what you can do yourself, and maybe as a small business, save some money, some time, some resources, and when you really need to hire someone, with some technical expertise in search engine optimization. So we're going to conduct a quick poll so that I know who currently has a website and what platform that website is in, so that we can show you the back end of the wizards on a lot of these content management systems, also called CMSs. So I'm going to launch that poll right now. If you could just take 15 seconds or so to tell me if you have a website, and if you have a website, what is it built in? So I'm going to go ahead and launch that right now. And we'll just give a few more seconds. Okay, terrific. So it looks like most of you actually follow the same pattern that we see over and over with small businesses. You're either in Wix or Squarespace. There were a few of you in WordPress. We won't spend too much time on that. And then we did have a few people who were in Shopify. So I'll talk to that later in the presentation. The goals today, as I stated, it's just really to give you a basic overview so that you know how to spend your time and your resources right. And when you do hire, when you get to that advanced stage of search engine optimization, the technical stage, you know what you're paying for, so that you can ask your vendors or challenge your vendors or partner with your vendors. We don't like the word challenge your vendors. We like the word partner, to just kind of work on what's best for your company. So we're going to start with just the basics. As we said, today we're going through the term and the way to look at search engine optimization for your small business, so that you've got a good foundation. So we're going to start at the very beginning, which is, what is search marketing? Defined. So it's the process of gaining traffic and visibility from search engines like Google and Bing through both paid and unpaid efforts. And we wanted to make sure, when you hear the word natural search or organic search or unpaid, that's all the same thing. It's the result of sweat equity, understanding the Google or the Bing algorithm, picking the right keywords, and really optimizing your site through time and effort. And it does take time. The difference between that and paid, which is also called PPC, pay-per-click ads, which again is generally Google or Bing, but it can include YouTube, and if you use Pinterest as a visual search engine, it can also apply to social platforms where you pay for ads. But the difference is, when you pay, things happen a lot faster. So you could pay for an ad and be up tomorrow, whereas with organic and natural search, it could take up to 3 months. So those are some important considerations. One is cheaper, takes longer. One is obviously more expensive when you pay, but you will have results and be up much faster. So when we talk about search engine optimization, what does that actually mean? That means the customers of Google or Bing. In this case, for the presentation, we're going to talk about Google because that's really 80% of the searches that are out there. Bing, is worth a mention, but let's just talk about Google. When the customers of Google go into Google and type in a keyword such as marketing lawn signs, Google wants to give them a good experience. They want to give them results that are a relevant search so that they come back to Google because they found what they were looking for. So the breakdown of these pages are you've got your paid positions up at the top, usually positions 1 to 4. We've got 3 here that we call skip the line because they go to the top of the page and they could be up within, a day. And then below that, you will see the optimized searches. So anything that is beyond Google search results page 1 is really not worth it, negligible. So you want to be either optimized or paid to be on page 1. And the top positions are generally paid through Google Ads. And the bottom positions are optimized through sweat equity, a lot of work, search engine optimization. And we're going to talk through all of the elements that go into getting optimized and getting you ranked today. We are not going to talk about Google Ads. Okay, so search engine optimization in a nutshell, as I mentioned, it's based on the algorithms of Google. So what makes you rank higher than your competitors if you have exactly the same product and keywords? So there's a number of different parts to the Google algorithm, how Google decides who ranks higher on that first position page. There's about 200 different parts, but only probably 8 or so that are really relevant to you as a small business, where you can get a lot of impact. And we're going to talk about that. And that helps Google, the way that you position those 8 different elements helps Google to determine if you are relevant to their customers' search, their keywords that they typed into Google. And then it weeds out bad content and not relevant search. So how does that happen? So Google, the process of doing that is Google sends bots when you let Google know that you've got a website. And we'll talk about that later, how you let Google know. It's not enough just to build a website. You actually have to tell Google you're open for business. So the process is when Google finds out you've got a website because you've told them, they go and they send out their spiders to crawl, meaning to sift through everything on all the pages of your website. And based on the keywords it finds on your website, it will index it to say what category or topic or keyword your page would be relevant for. And then it decides how to rank you, and how to rank you depends on, is your information more trusted and authoritative than somebody else who might do the exact same thing that you do? So how does it decide if, in this example, dog groomers near me, how does it decide that this top position was more relevant to the search and deserved to be at the top rather than the next one down? And all of that has to do with trust and authority, which we'll talk about. The mechanics of how to do this, how to prepare your website for Google to come and basically audit or inspect your website and then decide how you get categorized. The mechanics of how to prepare your website has 3 different parts, and that's called on-site preparation, off-site preparation, and then there's technical preparation. And we're going to talk about all 3 of those today. So on-site preparation is dependent first on your keyword selection, having the appropriate keywords for the content of your page. And what you want to do is use something like the free Google Keywords Planner in order to determine the 5 or 6 keywords that you want and make sure that they actually have a lot of people searching on them. You don't want to pick 5 or 6 keywords that you think are relevant and nobody searches on them. That typically doesn't happen, but maybe to be competitive, if you are a small business, you're not going to be able to compete with a lot of larger companies on shorter, broader keywords. And maybe you want what's called long tail. So instead of saying diamond rings, where maybe Blue Nile and a number of other companies are going to rank really high for that, you want to compete on a long tail keyword, which might be diamond rings in Westerly, Rhode Island, or diamond rings for your engagement. So those are some of the selection criteria that goes in. 5 or 6 top keywords that you want to rank for organically. Ideally, each page on your site has 1 or 2 keywords that you're focusing on. And then you want to optimize the elements of each page to match those keywords. What does that mean? That means that I'm going to show you, I'm actually going to screen share, that you want to optimize the title tags, the headlines of your pages, the body copy, the URL slugs. And here I'm showing you exactly what that means. So here is the title. When you browse over this area here on the worksheet, that is the title tag. That is the most important position that Google looks for to tell them what the page is about. So you want to make sure to put your keywords in there as well as your location. URL slug is right below that. So that is your domain plus whatever you're naming the page. And when you're naming the page, you want to include some of your keywords in there. So now you've got 2 places that the Google spiders have looked and they recognize that this page might actually be about pay-per-click advertising. The third is here, which is in the middle right now. It says Google Ads and Google My Business. That is your headline tag, H1 tag, and that is another indicator of what this page is about. And then below that is what's called the body copy, which are basically your paragraphs. And you want to make sure in your paragraphs to use natural language, but to include the keywords that you're trying to rank for. And in the combination between all of these will tell Google what your page is about. So that's just a few of the elements that go into it. Behind the scenes is all of this code. And there's one additional element that we'll talk about, which is the meta description, which will show up on Google. The meta description is not actually used anymore to rank you higher, but it does help to inspire people to an action. So a click to visit your website or to call. The click to visit your website is going to tell Google that you were highly relevant to what they had. So we're going to talk a little bit about the meta description. And you don't need to be a developer. Don't let this scare you. Wix, WordPress, Squarespace, Shopify, Yoast app plugins, they all make this easy and they walk you through what you need to do. So I'm going to stop share for a quick second, and then I'm going to show you this on the Wix and the Squarespace sites. So here is our Wix page. As I said, here is your title. We're not on an individual page, but if I were on an individual page for, let's say, Facebook ads, we would have a slug. We would have our H1, so our headline, and then our body copy. And then behind the scenes, where you set this up, the title, the H1 tags, etc., is in your Wix editor. So as you know, in your Wix editor, As you know, in your Wix editor, this is the main entry page. You've got your pages and menus here on the left, and where you can set your titles and your meta description, as well as your URL slugs, is here under the 3 dots. And you go to SEO Basics. Under SEO Basics, you can see here is the page title where you want to include some of your keywords as well as your location. And here is the meta description that will actually show in Google. You also want to make sure that the Let Search Engines Index This Page is toggled to yes. And what you would do is go to each one of your pages and go to this SEO Basics. And here is the URL slug for this page. Here's the title, here's the meta description, and you want to let Google and the search engines and the other search engines index this page. So that's the basics that you would do on Wix in order to prepare your page. Here, you also want to go into your body copy and make sure that your body copy has some of the keywords in it, as well as here on your H1 tags. You want to make sure, or your heading tags, you want to make sure that they are set so that Google recognizes them as a headline tag. In Squarespace, where you would do this is your Squarespace dashboard, would be under Pages. Then you would pick your page and you would go to the gear, and down here on the gear, you would input SEO. And here you would type in whatever your title is. So this was what we had done in the last class. Let's just say, let's pretend it's a real estate agency, a real estate staging agency. So we put in a keyword for this page and our location. And in the description, we want to call people to action. So contact us today for a free evaluation. And you would kind of go on. You've got 300, I think you've got a total of 400 characters in this description. And do you see here it says hide page from search results? The default is on. If I wanted to hide it in Squarespace, it's opposite from Wix. I would toggle to hide it, but I actually don't want to hide it. And then you would save. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cancel here. So that's in Wix and in Squarespace. And then in Wix, we'll go over how to actually submit to the search engines, which is a part of your main dashboard. This is our training site, and you would go here to the left-hand side to marketing and SEO tools. And Wix has a great wizard, and they kind of walk you through everything you need to do to get found on Google and submit your sitemaps, etc. So this is all the basics. You know, there's much more advanced things that you can do with SEO, with redirects and submitting your sitemaps, etc. But we're just covering, you know, the very basics of writing in your titles, your meta description, getting your URL slugs to have keywords on them, and then submitting them to the search engine. So Wix makes it easy for you to submit to the search engines. For the others, we'll talk about how to use the Google Search Console. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second and go back to our presentation. Other elements that go into preparing your site on site are internal links. And that means if you submit your website to Google and say they crawl and index one page, you might have 16 pages. So you want to make sure to link between pages where you can, so that when the spiders come, they see everything on your website. So we liken that to you've got a big house and you've invited real estate agents to come look at it. You don't want them to see just your living room. You actually want all of the doors open to all of the other rooms so that they can look through the entire house. If you've got doors closed, meaning you don't have an internal link, then they won't come. So internal links are just going through your body copy and, where relevant, linking to other pages on your site. And generally, you'll recognize that from other websites you visited by these blue links. Sometimes they don't have a color, sometimes they're underlined, but it's linking from page to page on a site so that it is easy for the search engines to navigate and find all of the pages on your site. There are other elements for Onsite that you most likely have heard about, which is alt tag. So that's when you have an image, making sure that the name of the image has some of your keywords embedded in it. And that is for the visually impaired, and that does help. We're not spending a lot of time on that. The other elements are have a higher priority with Google, but that is an additional element that will help you. When we talk about off-site preparation, it is anything that is not on your website itself, but it helps the search engines to decide if you have great trust or authority. And a lot of that offsite preparation is going to deal with external links. You've probably heard about the term backlinks or link building. And that gives higher trust signals to Google. If it's you versus a competitor and Google looks at your titles, your body copy, your headline tags, and you both index for the same category, let's say lawn signs, how does Google decide which one of you gets positioned above the other? And a lot of that has to do with these external links. If you've got links from highly trusted other websites, Google's going to say, oh, well, this website seems to be really popular with other websites. I trust them. I'm going to rank them higher. So there is a debate whether social media and putting links on your social media helps or doesn't help directly with search engine optimization. But it doesn't hurt, and it gets people to visit your website, and hopefully there's a halo effect that they come back directly, and that does help your website. So how do you build external links to your website? If you are a member of any association, there's something called name, address, phone number. Any associations that you belong to, make sure that they have all of your correct information and a link to your website. That includes chambers of commerce, the BBB, Yelp. If you are a local business, business.google.com, you can have on the Google business profile, which used to be called the Google My Business profile, you can list yourself for free. So if you are a local business or you service people in a local area, there's no reason not to do it. As well as Yelp. If Yelp is appropriate for your type of business, that's free as well. So it's basically you're going to claim your listing. They may already have you listed, and you just want to make sure that your information is complete on that listing. And the benefit is it then links back to your site. So there is a search engine optimization benefit outside of your local area to that. And then free, it's free. Why wouldn't you if you are a local business? What is it? It allows Google My Business allows you to be ranked on search and maps in what's called the Google Knowledge Panel or the local 3-pack. You also have the ability to message, post events or promotions. And this is basically what it looks like. And it is very useful for people who are searching via mobile, as you don't really need to go to somebody's full website. If you could imagine this on a phone, you're just looking for their address. Are they open? What are their hours? Maybe their menu and their phone number. So that is the Google local knowledge panel. If somebody types in a direct brand name, if they don't type in a direct brand name, the Google My Business profile still lists you in what's called the Google Local 3-pack. So you can see here, the keyword up at the top is bars in downtown Westerly. And Google submitted 3 different companies into the Google 3-pack. Well, how did those companies rank higher than everybody else? They had to do with the distance, or we'll start with the relevance to my keyword, bars in downtown Westerly. I don't want to have a theater show up if it's not actually a bar. So number 1, the relevance to my keyword. Number 2 is the proximity, which is how far were they from me, when I'm typing in the keyword into my mobile device or my desktop. And then their authority. So reviews make a difference. Make sure that you get as many reviews as you can. And that's all the way that Google decides who is more relevant to that search than the 100 other bars in downtown Westerly. As we said, content management systems make it easy. We showed you Wix and Squarespace. WordPress has an app called Yoast. Shopify also has the ability to optimize each page directly in the online store page area. We showed you Wix, where to input on your SEO basics for each page, and then how to submit yourself to the Google Search Console. The beauty of Wix, why we're such big fans, is it's all in one. It takes care of everything, as does Shopify for those of you who are looking for an e-commerce solution. Wix does have an e-commerce solution. We just like Shopify better if you're actually taking credit cards, but Wix works really well for informational sites. It's a one-stop shop. So we showed you the SEO tools. And this is an example on WordPress. After you have installed under plugins, find the Yoast plugin. Then on your dashboard toolbar, you look for SEO, and they'll walk you through what title do you want for each individual page, and then what is the meta description you want. They do have a free version and a paid version. And then what shows up is this here at the top, where in purple is the Greatly Agency, Greatly Agency. That's our title. Our URL is right below that. Our our meta description is the paragraph below that. And all of that is input with WordPress from the Yoast plugin. As I mentioned, these are the alt image tags. Ignore the typo. We were using that as an example. And then the mechanics, we've talked about Onsite. We're talking about Offsite. Never buy links from a link farm. It's just like with email, never buy lists. Try not to use interstitials because it does mess up mobile crawling and ranking. Don't keyword stuff, meaning, on your body copy, don't write, "We have lawn signs. The best lawn signs in Westerly, Rhode Island are the lawn signs that we have because we love lawn signs." That's keyword stuffing. Google picks up on that, and they think of you as spammy and a not good experience for their customers. Do not duplicate content either. So if you have 2 pages that are similar, don't just copy the page and have exactly the same title and body copy. That actually confuses Google, and Google will split your search engine credits, and it's actually worse for you. So make sure the content on each page is unique. Don't try to hide text or links, and don't try to trick the system. Just write the page. It's the best focused page that you can about a specific topic that has a keyword that's attached to it. And then the keywords or the search engines will reward you for that. We already talked about the Google Keyword Planner, making sure that you use the Keyword Planner to find the right keywords. And they will also tell you when you use the keyword planner, if a keyword, number one, has great searches, number two, if it's got high competition. They rank things as low, medium, and high competition. So if you're in a business vertical where there's a lot of people out there with full teams just working on SEO and you'll never compete, work on the keywords that are low competition. If you're a single solopreneur, that's the way that you will compete, is on long tail keywords and low competition. And then we want to talk about after you've decided on your keywords, how do you let the search engines know? We already talked about Wix automatically on your dashboard. When you let Google know, they'll handle everything for the Google Search Console. Shopify is the same. Others, however, like Squarespace or WordPress, you actually have to go to the Google Search Console or the Bing Webmaster to submit your website to be indexed and crawled and ranked. That may be a little bit more technical. This may be the area where you want to hire somebody once you've taken care of the basics and at least saved the money on the foundations. But stepping into these more technical areas may be where you want to find an SEO expert to work on a project basis and just at least get you submitted to the search engines. And the Search Console, you can Google Search Console, and they will ask you to sign up for it. You need to have a Google address, whether that's a Gmail address or one of the Google Workspace addresses, to sign up for the Search Console, which makes sense. And once you are submitted, it will tell you your overall performance. So you can see how you are performing in search. I would also suggest in the project when you're working on submitting your search engine and hiring a search engine optimization professional, that you have that professional submit a sitemap. That way Google will automatically crawl you and index any new pages so that you don't have to keep going back over and over again every new page you submit. Wix creates a sitemap free, as does Squarespace, but you want to be able to submit that. I talked a little bit about name, address, phone number for building links. So that's offsite citations. That's building trust and authority. So that's Yelp, BBB, Google business profile. So you can go into each one of those, and on your Chamber of Commerce, any associations you belong to, make sure that you put in all of your information with a link back to your website. We're going to quickly show you how to do it on the Google Business Profile with the new setup. So you just go to business.google.com and make sure that you are logged in under the Gmail address or the Google Workspace address for your business. It is a Google product. So this is a free service provided by Google. So you want to have a Gmail or a Workspace address. And you'll just type in what is the name of your business, your street address, choose a category that works best for you. And then they will ask for your contact information. Google Business Profile will actually even put together a free website if you need it, or you can list if you've already got an existing website. And then what Google will do is send you a postcard by mail that will take up to 5 days. And once that it's 5 minutes to register all of this information, but it takes 5 days for Google to send a postcard to the physical address that you listed, whether you want that physical address listed on Google or not. They just want to verify you actually exist. So once you get that postcard, you type in the verification code you receive into your Google My Business profile. And then you will have access like this. And this is what it will look like as what's called an administrator. So you can see when I typed in the Greatly Agency and Greatly Digital Media, who is the sponsor of this Grow Great training, you can see that I have the knowledge panel, but I have the admin access to change anything. I could edit my profile. I could respond to messages. I could see who's called me. Underneath the 3 dots, I could change anything that is in my Google, my business profile as well. I could add new people to manage it for me. So once you have submitted yourself and you are the owner of your business profile, you can change anything that's in it. And that will get you ranked and in the queue to be served in the Google Business Local 3-pack, which we talked about before. So bear in mind, for search engine optimization, it is constantly changing. Keep up to date, hire people for more difficult, advanced, or technical aspects, which we're going to talk about quickly. Blogs, it's great to write blogs, but you have to make sure that the blogs are found and that your blogs link to other pages. People won't just find your blog if you write it. You should submit it to the search engines. You should put it on social media. You should put it in your emails and start to drive traffic to it. We're going to talk quickly about technical preparation. Again, this is a little bit more advanced. Wix handles much of this for you. Again, why we love Wix. Shopify as well, but not as well as Wix. And that has to do with how fast is your site. What is the schema markup, meaning the basic focused information on your website? What is the bounce rate of your website? Meaning when people click on your link from Google, do they stay on your website or do they immediately leave? Google does not like, that's a bounce rate. Google does not like high bounce rates because it tells them that you were not actually relevant for the search that somebody did. They might have typed in the keyword lawn signs and Google ranked and indexed you higher. Somebody clicked on it and they went to your website and immediately left because it wasn't about lawn signs. It was about landscaping for baseball diamonds. So it has to be relevant. So you also want to make sure you have a sitemap and you want to have your website before you submit it to any search engines. You want to make sure that you have the free Google Analytics tag on it, and that you can get on analytics.google.com. Again, all of this might be a little bit more than the basics. I would recommend on a project basis, hiring somebody to set up your Google Analytics, get your code set up correctly, submit you to the search engines, make sure that your speed is optimized, make sure that you have local schema set up, that your bounce rate is in the acceptable range. And if you wanted to, out of curiosity, see what your speed is right now, you just go to gtmetrics.com. Anything less than a B, you should be concerned about. So before we turn it over to Q&A and I stop the recording, I am going to just quickly review. So today we talked about the basics of understanding search engine optimization is to understand there are 3 different categories of preparation for your website. That is on-site, off-site, and technical aspects. All will help you get crawled by the Google spiders, indexed for the category or topic that your web page is about, and then ranked higher than any of your other competitors on the search engine results page, which is also called a SERP. So for Onsite, we talked about how to prepare your website. This is probably the area for small businesses where you can do much of the work yourself. And that's just making sure that your title, your meta descriptions, your body copy, your headline tags, your URL slugs are all prepared, as well as that you have links going back and forth between each page. Then once that preparation is done, you want to make sure that offsite you're building trust and authority by link building with different associations or citations with name, address, phone number, places like BBB, Yelp, etc. And then where you're going to need a little bit more help is with submitting your sitemap, getting your analytics set up, making sure that the speed of your site is within the acceptable range. And that's where you really should reach out to a search engine optimization professional in order to help you with a project to get all of that taken care of. So thank you very much. I'm going to turn off the recording, and just know that you can find additional resources and this recording on YouTube. We will also send it to everybody here via email, everyone who registered for the class. And hopefully we will see you in some of our other classes. So thank you very much.